Now at 10, some members of the Carthage City Council renewed their efforts to oust the mayor and city administrator. Plus, the latest on area cleanup efforts after a weekend of severe storms in parts of the 4 states. And heavy rains and flooding bring a whole new complication to some drivers: tickets and fines.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The city of Carthage tonight hosted a special meeting to discuss next steps in efforts to remove the city administrator and impeach the mayor. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. The council moved forward with a request for proposal for legal guidance on their next moves. The request could bring in an independent law firm or mean hiring a new city attorney after the previous Carthage city attorney resigned earlier this month.
We're going to put an RFP out, and whether it's a firm or an individual, we'll look at the applicants and interview from there.
Council's next scheduled meeting is Tuesday, May 14th. However, they discussed possibly holding another special meeting before then. Parents and students in the Joplin School District are seeing changes to their bus routes today. Some parents recently received a letter from the Joplin Schools Transportation Department. It informed them that while working to improve transportation efficiency, the district discovered their students' bus stop was in a no-bus zone. That means some parents have to find alternate transportation for the last month of the school year.
Concerned about how I'm going to get them back home safely. I'm not big on them walking. Obviously, we are in the city. Railroad tracks are right behind the house here.
The Joplin Schools Transportation Department says through the year they go through their system and find students who should be walking rather than riding the bus. They say it just so happens this letter came out with only a month left of school. Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney now for our first look at the weather.
We still have some flood warnings in Allen County, Neosho County, Wilson, and Woodson, not to mention the Fort Scott area. Those are in effect until Wednesday evening due to all of the rainfall that they got. The pink purple is closer to 7 to 9 inches, but when you get to this gray area near the Fort Scott region, that's up to 16 inches of rain. Not to mention we've had a few tornadoes in the area. Wichita National Weather Service still doing their surveying for all of the tornadoes out here in Independence and Fredonia, though we did have a few confirmed touchdowns out there. But Springfield has done some surveying. Stotesbury had an EF1, went about 3 miles, and Uniontown EF0. So a couple tornadoes out in Bourbon County and Vernon County. We'll keep an eye on the ones that are in Fredonia and Independence to see the damage and any of the ratings as well. Not to mention we've got more storms coming up later this week.
See you soon. People in communities all across the 4 states are cleaning up from weekend flooding. Among the worst hit are areas around Fort Scott, Kansas. Look at this. According to city officials, most of the flooding is north of town and along Highway 54 east toward Uniontown. It's not just city and county workers dealing with the aftermath. Workers at Pete's convenience store on US 54 had to deal with more than a foot of floodwater in their building.
Yeah, we're having to pull almost every single product that was 18 inches at that 18-inch level because we have to waste it out and everything and get all the mud and everything off the floors. They have to rewire everything inside.
According to the city manager, most of the cleanup around town should take less than a week. Damaged roads, they say, will be repaired. Heavy rains are also causing issues in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. This is video of the Neosho River at Twin Bridges State Park. As you can see, debris and logs have accumulated in the river for about the length of 2 football fields, causing a jam. The City of Miami says it's not aware of any plans by ODOT or GRDA to remove the debris or close the bridge at this time. For more information about area river levels, go to the weather page on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The city of Fredonia, Kansas has some tips for property owners recovering from this weekend storms. One is to clear gutters and drains so water can flow more freely away from your home. Also, seal your windows and doors to prevent water infiltration and inspect your sump pump to make sure it can handle excess water if necessary. With all this rain and flooded roads in the area, we wanted to know what penalties you could face if you're trapped by high waters and need to be rescued from your vehicle. Chris Bryant spoke with law enforcement. It says at the end of the day, it comes down to officer discretion.
We say it all the time, turn around, don't drown when it comes to flooding and these low water crossings like this. And the Missouri State Highway Patrol says that these barricades are put up for a reason because of the dangerous situation.
You know, we put them up for a reason. You know, leave them alone. Don't move them. Don't go around them. You know, we put them there for people's safety because there's a reason why you shouldn't be going across the roadway.
For MoDOT, it knows that rain and flooding can do a number on the roads.
It doesn't take a whole lot of water to wash a car away, but you don't know whether it's washed the road out, whether it's washed the culvert out. You know, in the Northeast, we had a bridge, collapse because of the amount of water.
That's why those barricades and warnings are so important.
A barricade protecting the driver from what's ahead of that, whether it's a complete road closure because of construction or inundated because of flood waters.
If you drive around a barricade, you can be ticketed for failure to obey a traffic control device. The penalties vary county to county and judge to judge.
When we ignore that and manipulate that, molest it, if you will, to get through it, that in itself is a fine. Whether it's a mail-in fine or it's going to be a mandatory appearance, a CNI most times is a mandatory appearance, depending on what can be articulated by the arresting officer, if you will.
Sergeant Mike McClure with the Missouri State Highway Patrol says on roads that flood that don't have barricades, the situation becomes more situational and discretionary whether you get a ticket or not.
It's usually going to be the discretion of the circumstances, case by case. If it turns out that it can be shown that this was negligent on you, I did this purposefully, thinking I could make it.
In the city of Springfield,
it is illegal to go around any barrier for any reason, and by doing that, you could be issued a citation by an officer.
Even on roads you're familiar with, the dangers are still there.
If you don't know how deep it is or where the bottom is, turn around, find a different way, wait until the storm passes and the water clears out.
And if you end up needing help, don't let the fear of a ticket be the reason you don't call.
Don't make a bad situation, don't make a bad decision, even worse by not calling. We're going to come help you.
FEMA says even a few inches of moving water has the potential to knock you off your feet, and a foot of water, well, that can sweep a vehicle, even a large SUV, right off the road. Riverton and Columbus renew their rivalry on the baseball diamond. John Dales has highlights of their afternoon doubleheader later in sports. But first, an AI camera helped solve a murder in Missouri. Police in Blue Springs, Missouri are crediting an AI-equipped camera system for leading to an arrest in a deadly shooting case. Betsy Webster reports on how that system works.
When a city camera at Wilbur Young Park captured one of the shooting suspects hopping into a getaway car, it did not reveal a plate number, just a description. That's where the flock camera system comes in. You don't need a plate to search for hits on the camera.
We can also search by make, model, and other characteristics. If it has a roof rack, if it has bumper stickers, things like that. It uses AI technology to identify those characteristics of the vehicles.
Investigators input that with locations and times and get photos of every vehicle that matches. A human analyst then examines the photos for a more precise match that now does have a plate number. They can then put an alert on that vehicle to get a ping when it's spotted. That's what happened in this case. Court documents show a sergeant, quote, used the flock camera system to identify the sedan. 2 days later, another sergeant, quote, received a flock hit on the Chevy Cruze. The patrol sergeant then responded to the area to look for it nearby and took the driver into custody.
It's super helpful. We use it constantly during our investigations.
For those who are leery about being watched, Blue Springs Police made this clear.
It's an investigative tool only. This is not live monitoring. This isn't for traffic citations or red light tickets. These capture snapshots that are stored for 30 days, and we have to have an investigative reason to search for a vehicle.
The company that makes that camera says they partner with about 160 agencies in Missouri and about 80 in Kansas. Federal safety regulators are investigating Ford's hands-free driver assistance system. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is looking into blue crews after 2 fatal crashes involving stationary vehicles. Specifically, they're looking at the systems in the 2021 to 2024 Ford Mustang Mach-E models. Blue Cruise is available only on certain roads and uses a camera-based monitoring system to determine driver attentiveness. The NHTSA investigation comes just days after federal safety regulators announced it closed its investigation into Tesla's autopilot system. The U.S. government is throwing out major fines to the top wireless carriers in the U.S. Officials say AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon illegally shared personal data from their customers without consent. These fines stem from allegations made by the FCC, which said for years the carriers gave geolocation history information to third parties in connection with their commercial programs. AT&T is fined $57 million, while Verizon was fined nearly $47 million. Sprint's fined $12 million. For T-Mobile, $80 million. All 4 carriers say they plan to appeal that decision. Lindsay's forecast is next, and later, Crowder Baseball looks to make history today. John's going to have their attempt at a milestone in sports.
Well, I hope everyone stayed safe this weekend. It's been a very chaotic weekend storm-wise, but luckily we are in a little bit of a lull in between storm systems. So we've got a nice sunset shot of downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Center. I haven't seen this sunset in a while. We've had storms every night for the last few nights, and we do have flood warnings still in effect. Allen County, Neosho County, Wilson, and Woodson got some flood warnings in effect until late Wednesday afternoon, not to mention the Fort Scott area as well, still in that flood advisory and flood warning in those areas. Now, we've also had a few tornadoes. Springfield has done their surveys, or has started to, and they've marked a couple tornadoes out in Uniontown, EF0, Stotesbury, EF1. So pretty weekend tornadoes, but they did go about 3 miles, had some damage to houses on the sides, shillings as well, and mostly just tree damage, trees uprooted and branches broken off. Now, Wichita has been dealing with a lot of the floods in this area, so they haven't finished their surveying yet. We did have confirmed tornado touchdowns out in Fredonia and Independence, so they have yet to do the surveys for those tornadoes, but we'll update you as those start to roll in. We've had a break today and tomorrow during the day, but we do see storms start to pick back up Tuesday night and Wednesday night, and unfortunately in the same area that already has seen a lot of rainfall. Now, main threats for these storms on Tuesday, that's hail and stronger wind gusts. Wednesday, that threat starts to increase slightly as we start to see maybe the possibility for another round of tornadoes, but still very low likelihood for that. But if you're starting your day tomorrow, it's going to be pretty nice. Some clouds start off, but other than that, mostly sunny during the day. Temperatures getting up to nearly 70 degrees by noon, and we'll take a future look at the storms coming in on Tuesday. So this is 6:30 p.m. Been mostly a sunny day. Temperatures really nice into the near 80s. Storms start to roll in those northwestern counties, so southeast Kansas is going to see some rain again, and by 10 p.m. Yates Center is getting those storms. They're going to push in, and then they'll start to shift off to the east, and we see still pretty strong, but it's about 4 a.m. Then they'll start to weaken, and we'll see some stronger storms, still heavy rain, but that main threat will be out of there by then. So this is 7:30 in the morning, still some rain in the area. They will continue to shift off, and by early afternoon we'll clear out, but we do have another round of storms coming in Wednesday night. So if you're planning your week, we've got storms Tuesday night, storms Wednesday night, and thunderstorms all day on Thursday. That's going to be where our main severe threat is, but we had a nice little break on Friday.
Lindsay, thanks. Hey, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, why don't you just download the KOAM News app? You can do it right now. It's free. You'll find it wherever you find your apps. Just search for KOAM News app. Kansas Department of Health and Environment has issued a stream advisory for part of the Verdigris River because of an oil well spill. The advisory is from 75 Highway east of Neodesha, Kansas in Wilson County to the Oklahoma state line. The KDHE says people should not allow children, livestock, or pets to enter that stream. New research out of Canada finds people with opioid use disorder were more than 15% less likely to receive palliative care compared to other patients. The study also finds they die at younger ages of causes other than drug use. Researchers say as a population of people with opioid use disorder ages, more of them will need palliative care. MoDOT wants to alert some drivers in Joplin about road work that might impact them. Starting tomorrow, crews are going to close Connecticut Avenue to traffic just south of 38th Street. This time closure from 9 a.m. until dusk is to install stormwater pipes under Connecticut Avenue. Work is expected to continue daily through the end of the week, but might change due to weather or other unforeseen circumstances. Still ahead, Crowder baseball raises awareness of autism while taking on Neosho County Community College.
Kansas.
Riverton High School baseball enters today as the #2 ranked team in Class 3A. Now the Rams have won 8 of their last 9 games, which brings their record up to 18-3 on the year. This afternoon they play a doubleheader at Pitt State. Riverton baseball facing Columbus at Al Ortolani Field, game 1 of a doubleheader. Top of the first inning, 1 out, bases loaded. Noah Harper gets a ground ball, which leads to a 4-6-3 double play. Rams get out of the inning, allowing no runs. Bottom of the second now, 2 outs. Carter Woodcock hits a line drive into right field. That drops down. A run comes in to score. Titans score 3 in the second. They take a 3-1 lead. Now into the third, Riverton responds. Will Mann sends one into right. That's going to drop down for a hit. Leads cut to 1. Later in the inning, Columbus with runners on first and third, 2 outs. Ben Major caught in a rundown, but while he's being chased, another run scores. Rams come back to tie it at 4, but the Titans score the final 3 runs of the game. They take the front end of the doubleheader, 7-4. And the second game is another Columbus win. This time the Titans dominate, 9-1 the final score. They hand Riverton its 4th and 5th losses of the season in the same day. Columbus and Frontenac are the only 2 teams from Kansas to beat the Rams this year. Over in Neosho, Crowder baseball has its final regular season home game this afternoon. Rough Rider head coach Travis Lallemond enters the day with 799 career wins. An opportunity for Travis Lallemond to pick up career win number 800 this afternoon. 8th-ranked Crowder baseball hosts Neosho County Community College. Now this is Crowder's autism awareness game. McKenna Kaler throws out the ceremonial first pitch before the game between the Rough Riders and Panthers. She's a sophomore at East Newton High School attending the Link Transition program. However, the Panthers spoil the festivities. They win 8-5. Coach Lallemond will have to wait just a little bit longer to get his 800th victory. Rough Riders' regular season is over. They host Metropolitan Community College in a sub-regional best-of-3 series. That's this weekend. First 2 games are on Friday. Over in the NFL, the Chiefs and Travis Kelce agreed to a 2-year extension today. The 3-time Super Bowl champion was already under contract through the end of the 2025 season, but this 2-year extension will keep him in Kansas City through the end of the 2027 season. At that point, he'll be 39 years old. According to NFL Network, the new deal will pay him just over $34 million in the final 2 years, which makes Kelce the highest paid tight end in the league. In the NFL, the Thunder have made quick work of the Pelicans thus far in their first-round playoff series. This evening, OKC gets the chance to complete a 4-game sweep. And that's exactly what the Thunder do. They win Game 4 by a final score of 97-89. They'll advance to the Western Conference semifinals, where they await the winner of the first round series between the Mavericks and Clippers. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leads the way tonight for OKC. He has a double-double off 24 points and 10 rebounds. And for Thunder fans, this is a big one because it's the first time since the 2015-16 season that they've won a playoff series.
Is that right?
Yeah, been a while.
I guess it has. Let's hope they can keep the ball rolling. We'll be right back. Well, visitors to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government #1 building, they watched as this happened. A 300-foot tall Godzilla was projected onto the building. Actual size? I'm guessing, maybe, sort of. Godzilla was an actual thing. The display marks the 70th anniversary since the birth of that fictional monster, who is also a tourism ambassador to Shinjuku Ward, a district of the Japanese capital. Officials started projecting Godzilla as part of efforts by the capital to entice more tourists to Shinjuku Ward, home to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government and one of the biggest nightlife spots in Tokyo. Through that Godzilla. Here's Lindsay.
So we do have some more storms popping up Tuesday afternoon, late afternoon into early evening hours. A few storms in southeast Kansas. If you're Joplin or south, you may not see any of these storms or even rain at all. Then that chance returns again Wednesday evening. Main threat will be Thursday. All day Thursday, we're going to have those thunderstorm chances.
We don't need any more rain at the moment, that's for sure. Final sports note.
Another high school baseball score. Fort Scott beats Nevada today 12-1. Hands the Tigers just their third loss of the season.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.